Hello everyone, today we have a case of a 9-year-old female child who had limping in the lower limbs, and therefore after the clinical assessment her radiological examination was done with the help of a radiograph. And let's see what kind of radiograph it is and what are the possible findings that we can see in the radiograph. So this is a 9-year-old female whose radiograph we are seeing, and through this case I will be pointing out few of the learning points. So the first learning point is that it is not a usual or normal X-ray, it is a special kind of radiograph. Why? Because usually we will not be seeing the hip joint and the pelvis along with the knee joint and the ankle joint in a single radiograph, because single radiograph will be dedicated for either knee joint or leg or ankle joint. Such kind of particular area is focused because the cassette size is not that big enough. But here we are seeing that this X-ray has been obtained by stitching or by joining individual radiographs in the hip and the pelvis region, then in the femur and the knee region, and then in the leg and the ankle region. So such stitching or such joining is possible only with digital radiography. It is not possible with conventional radiography. So if you are interested, you can read the difference between conventional radiography and how advantageous is the digital radiography in today's time. And these plus marks are there because of stitching of the individual radiographs. So this is called a scanogram. So the first learning point is this is a scanogram. This is a special type of radiograph obtained with the help of digital radiography. The thing is that when we are examining this radiograph, we see that there is a lesion in the distal femoral metaphyseal region on left side. So I will briefly describe what are the various points, what are the 10 points that you have to definitely mention while describing any bone lesion. So the first thing is location. It is located in the left distal femur in the distal metaphyseal region. So we have to tell whether it is in the diaphysis, in the metaphysis, or in the epiphysis. Whenever it is in the epiphyseal region, we have to tell whether it is reaching till the articular surface and crossing the joint. Second thing, I have to tell whether it is central in position, that is in the medullary cavity it is there, or it is eccentric in position. So this lesion is eccentric. Third thing, I have to tell whether it is sclerotic lesion or lytic lesion. Since it is radiolucent, so I will say that it is a lytic lesion and it has a sclerotic rim. So the lesion is lytic because it is radiolucent, but the rim is sclerotic. And then I have to tell what is the zone of demarcation. Since we can say that this is the normal bone, this is the normal bone, this is the normal bone, and this is the abnormal part. So the distinguishing area between the abnormal bone and the normal bone is very much well defined with the help of this line or this border. Zone of demarcation is narrow and it will be called as a geographical lytic lesion with a narrow zone of transition. Suppose if we will not be able to see where is the normal bone, where is the abnormal bone, the areas are intermixing, then we will say that wide zone of transition is there, and that will be an aggressive feature like in Ewing sarcoma. And then apart from that, we have to tell if it is a lytic lesion, whether it is a geographical lytic lesion, it is moth-eaten lesion, or it is a permeative lytic lesion. There are three types of lytic lesions in bone. Geographical lytic lesion is usually non-aggressive, like this case, and moth-eaten is more aggressive, and permeative lesions are very aggressive, and they are very small lesions. And for example, we will see that in Ewing sarcoma. Then along with that, I will tell that the cortex is not destructed. There is no endosteal scalloping. Endosteal scalloping means resorption of the cortex. There is no resorption of cortex. There is no endosteal scalloping. There is no periosteal reaction. We are not able to see any periosteal reaction here. And again, we have to tell that there is no soft tissue lesion associated with this bony lesion. And then in the surrounding area, when we come outside this lesion, we see that this is the radiolucent area, which is fat plane. This will be muscle, this will be muscle, and this is the fat plane. So the soft tissues in the distal thigh, they are normal, and the intervening fat planes are also normal. So based on the 10 points we have to describe any bony lesion. This is a geographical lytic lesion, eccentric in location, located in the distal left femoral metaphyseal region with narrow zone of transition. No periosteal reaction is there. No endosteal scalloping or cortical thinning is there. There is a sclerotic rim surrounding the lesion, and the surrounding soft tissue in the distal thigh are normal. Fat planes are preserved. So it is a non-aggressive lesion, and this is a classical lesion which is known as non-ossifying fibroma. So as the name suggests, it is non-ossifying, but very paradoxically, with age it will ossify. From periphery to center it will ossify, and then it will disappear, and it will migrate away from the epiphysis towards the diaphyseal region. It will migrate away. So we do not have to treat it. It is a do not touch lesion of bone. So another learning point is that what are the various do not touch lesions of bone. So at least 30 do not touch lesions are there. You must remember at least 5 or 10 whenever somebody asks you. So such lesions in which we will not have to do anything, because they are very non-aggressive, they are asymptomatic, and they do not even need any biopsy. Such kind of lesions are called as do not touch lesions. So this is non-ossifying fibroma.